Welcome to Hidden Knowledge Archive.
What if the secret to a sharper mind wasn't a modern discovery? What if it was a practice, guarded for millennia, born under the Egyptian sun? How could a technique over 3,000 years old sharpen focus in just minutes? And what did the ancient Egyptians know about the human mind that we've forgotten? Over 3,000 years ago, while pharaohs built empires of stone and gold, a select few were cultivating an empire within. They believed that the simple act of breathing, when done with intention, could unlock the full power of the human mind. They were the priests of Ra, and this was their most sacred, hidden knowledge. Why did they believe that the air they breathed held the key to divine clarity? The answer lies not in stone, but in the very source of life itself, the sun. In the pantheon of Egyptian gods, Ra was the undisputed king, the creator, the sustainer, the giver of all life. Each sunrise was a divine promise of renewal and power. The priests, who dedicated their lives to his worship, observed a profound connection. Just as the sun's rays brought light and warmth to the world, they believed a specific form of breathing could bring a similar light to the inner world of the mind. They called this practice the breath of Ra. It was a ritual that mirrored the sun god's own journey across the sky. Steady, powerful, and illuminating. To inhale was to draw in Ra's divine energy. To exhale was to release mental fog and impurity. For them, breathing was not merely a biological function. It was a form of communion, a way to align their mortal consciousness with the eternal clarity of a god. This was not knowledge for the masses. The breath of Ra was a closely guarded secret, a privilege reserved for the highest echelons of Egyptian society. Hieroglyphs and papyrus scrolls hint at its existence, but the details are shrouded in illusion and metaphor. This was the domain of the priestly class, the scribes who chronicled history, and the pharaohs who were considered living gods on earth. In the hallowed silence of temple sanctuaries, far from the public eye, this elite would practice the technique. It was a tool to maintain the focus required for complex rituals, to decipher sacred texts, and to make decisions that would shape the fate of an entire kingdom. The knowledge was considered too powerful, too sacred to be shared. It was a divine key, and only the most disciplined and worthy were ever taught how to use it. Surviving fragments from ancient medical and wisdom texts, like the Ebers Papyrus, allude to the regulation of breath for calming the heart and clearing the spirit. While they never explicitly detail the technique, scholars have pieced together a plausible reconstruction. The rhythm was one of profound simplicity and control. It began with a slow, deliberate inhalation through the nose for a count of 4, filling the lungs completely, imagined as drawing the sun's golden energy into the body. This was followed by a brief, potent pause, holding the breath for a count of 7, a moment of pure stillness, where the mind was held in perfect suspension. Finally, a long, controlled exhalation through the mouth for a count of 8, releasing all tension, all distraction, all darkness. This 4 to 7, 8 cycle, repeated just a few times, was believed to transport the practitioner into a state of heightened focus, a calm awareness where the noise of the world faded away and only pure thought remained. But as empires rise, they must also fall. When the great temples of Thebes and Karnak were abandoned and the old gods were forgotten, this esoteric knowledge vanished with them. The breath of Ra was never inscribed in plain language. It was transmitted orally, from master to apprentice, within the secretive confines of the priesthood. With the burning of libraries and the decay of ancient institutions, the direct lineage of this knowledge was broken. The whispers of its power faded into myth, becoming just another cryptic riddle buried beneath the Egyptian sands. The precise rituals, the spiritual context, and the subtle nuances of the practice were lost to time, leaving us with only fragmented clues and the lingering question of what else we have forgotten. And yet, the echo of this ancient practice resonates today, not in the realm of mysticism, but in the labs of modern science. Neurologists and psychologists now have a name for what the Egyptian priests discovered through intuition: vagal tone. Slow, controlled breathing, particularly with a longer exhalation, stimulates the vagus nerve. This is the body's master control switch for the relaxation response, slowing the heart rate, lowering blood pressure, and shifting the brain from a state of fight or flight to one of rest and digest. This physiological shift reduces anxiety and enhances the activity of the prefrontal cortex, the very region of the brain responsible for focus, decision-making, and higher awareness. The priests of Ra didn't need fMRI scanners to know it worked. They simply felt it. It leads us to a final, unsettling thought. We, in our modern world, chase focus with technology, chemicals, and complex systems, constantly seeking the next great innovation to master our own minds. But what if the most profound tool was also the most simple? What if these ancient civilizations, who mapped the stars and built monuments to eternity, also possessed a deeper map of human consciousness? Perhaps they understood something fundamental about the connection between body and mind that we are only now, thousands of years later, beginning to rediscover.